Many thanks for staying here on Joy News. Now, illegal mining is having a negative toll on fishing communities in several communities across the country. Now, Joy News' Justice Bedu has been to the Anlo Beach, a fishing town in the Western region, to meet fishermen who are now out of work because of decreasing fish stock as a result of poisonous chemicals that are being discharged into the Accra River.
One of Ghana's largest water bodies, meandering through lush cocoa farms across 4 of the country's regions. On its banks, illegal miners, locally known as galamsey, are hard at work.
All along the coast of the Accra, hundreds of machines like these in the background work day and night digging for gold from underneath the water. None of the boys I've met here would agree to speak with me on camera. But in private, they tell me the work they do here is a choice between life and death. They run into the hundreds. But the real people who pay the price for the havoc they cause are in the thousands, possibly millions.
And the people bearing this brunt are not far away. Just a few kilometers downstream, I've come to see some of them in Anlo Beach, a small fishing town in the Western region. To see what impact galamsey mines have on lives here, I've spent more than 5 hours watching 33-year-old Komla casting his fishing net. He's been fishing in the Accra River for more than 10 years. For him, he says, times have never been this tough.
We used to get a lot of fish. Now, if we cast the net, we only get rubbish. Even today, I cast a net and got nothing. Life is getting tough.
After 5 hours of waiting to bring out the nets, this small fingerling is all we get. Instead, there's a lot of waste in the net.
During the washing of the gold into the river, the mercury, which is used in refining some of the gold, has destroyed the water, not only the mud, because the mercury getting into the water increases the high turbidity. So the chemicals kills the germs, or maybe let's say the fish species in the water. And the estuary or the river serves as the breeding habitat for most of the pregnant fishes. They come and they lay their eggs here. So if there is high increase in the chemical, it destroys some of these eggs that are being laid down.
The mud from the galamsey makes it difficult for the fishes to lay eggs. The fingerlings can't grow. Now people are also cutting the trees from the river, and that is making things worse.
More than 5,000 people live in Anlo Beach. 90% of them depend on the river for a living. They are not alone. There are hundreds of such vulnerable communities nationwide now reeling under the horrors of galamsey. Government's response has been more lip service and very little action. As Ghana head to the polls, many voters, including those at risk of environmental hazards like galamsey, will be waiting to see how those seeking to lead plan to address this menace. Justice Bedu, Joy News, Anlo Beach in the Western region.
Now, the cities of Accra and Columbus in the USA have begun a program aimed at strengthening the sister city partnership between them. A delegation led by the mayor of Columbus are in Accra to finalize the partnership. The idea is to tap into the experiences of businesses within the two cities to help in their management. Mayor of Columbus, Andrew Ginther, is in Accra to interact with management of Zoomlion, one of the target companies for the Sister City Partnership.
This relationship, the Sister City relationship between Columbus and Accra, is an exciting one that continues to grow and develop. I want to acknowledge former Mayor Coleman and Councilmember Harden. We wouldn't be here today if it weren't for them and their commitment and their vision to make this happen. So Councilmember Harden used to work in the mayor's office for former Mayor Coleman, and one of his chief responsibilities was to help see this sister city relationship formalized and put into place. And so it's great to have both of them here with the rest of the delegation. We're excited particularly about the work that Zoomlion is doing here and throughout Africa. We believe there are great opportunities for Zoomlion in the United States and in Central Ohio in particular. We believe that a great potential start, and we would like to extend an invitation to you and your colleagues to visit Columbus and Central Ohio. We work very closely with a group called the Solid Waste Authority of Central Ohio. SWACO, as we call them by acronym back home. They are actually led by former Mayor Coleman's very first chief of staff 17 so years ago, a gentleman named Ty Marsh, who's done an incredible job at SWACO, and we think would be a great place for us to connect and build relationships there. But we think there are opportunities in part and in spirit of the sister city relationship. We would love to extend an invitation to connect with some of our local resources and then trade ideas, share ideas, learn from Zoomlion's leadership, what we can be doing in Columbus and Central Ohio to continue to focus on health and well-being and quality of life of the people that we work for and represent.
Let's do some election-related news now. About a third of the electorate in Ghana consider themselves as floating voters who do not identify with any political party. According to a survey conducted by the Center for Democratic Development, CDD, in October this year, the number of such voters, often the most sought after in any election, also appears to be growing. Joy News' Hannah Odame reports the National Commission for Civic Education also scored poor marks in the survey, which assessed the prospects for credibility and peacefulness ahead of the election.
Floating voters have often determined the outcome of Ghana's elections as they are more amenable to the messages from the political parties, unlike the hardcore followers who hardly ever change their minds. The October survey revealed the number of floating voters had gone up marginally from the 30% in July this year to 31% in October. Announcing the results of the survey, senior research fellow Dr. Edem Salome could not explain why the 31% will not identify with any party.
A majority of Ghanaians, 64%, say they feel close to a political party. Now pay attention to the percentage that say they do not feel close to a political party. Now what that means in plain language is that there are more floating voters that we probably know. So this percentage drops only by 1% from the July survey. So 31% say they are not close to any political party.
69% of the nearly 3,000 respondents were also of the opinion political parties and candidates are involved in vote buying, with cash, clothing, household items, and alcohol among the items being handed out in exchange for votes. Meanwhile, the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, which ideally should be advocating against acts such as vote buying, were found to be performing rather poorly in a number of fronts, especially with their preparedness for the elections. The Ghana Police Service, on the other hand, came up tops. Another interesting result from this survey is that 78% of Ghanaians prefer a free and fair election, even if their preferred candidate does not win. Yet, fear the tallying of the poll numbers may not be accurate.
Close to 8 in 10 say they prefer to have a completely free and fair elections, even if their candidate fails to win. And again, a large majority, 44%, believe it is very or somewhat likely that the wrong vote tally would be announced.
One high point of the survey is that 9 out of 10 voters say they will participate in the upcoming elections. For Joy News, my name is Hannah Odami.
Meanwhile, there is the expectation that in the build-up to the general elections on December 7, the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, will be at the forefront of information dissemination. But this particular report, the CDD report, has revealed the Commission is not on point in this exercise. You're watching Joy News today. We'll bring you more stories after this. Please stay with us.